Thank you very much, Lara. Welcome to you all. It fills us with enthusiasm to see such a young crowd as well here in front of us today. So I'm going to start off, Larissa, with three words that you mentioned in your question, which are know-how, contacts, and an entrepreneurial mindset. These are three very key ingredients in business, but let's not run away with the idea that these three ingredients are only lacking in the creative industry. These three ingredients are lacking across the board. And this is where I believe that we, the policymakers, we, the entities that can actually help you, need to give more input. We need to make sure that the passion that you have is turned into a creativity that ultimately triggers another creativity when it comes to the business model itself. So I put it as an onus on us up here on the panel to make you succeed. That was my opening statement. My second statement is that we, and again when I say we, I am embracing all of us. We must all see the creative industry as an industry per se. It is not a hobby. It is an industry, and we need to recognize it as such. If we all embrace this notion that the creative industry is an industry per se, then definitely we can continue to move forward, because we will identify our strong points, we will also identify our weak points, and then we can work on the weaker aspects. As Malta, I believe that as Malta we have a lot of talent, and this is why it was very empowering to hear the Film Commissioner earlier this week say that we need to think not only locally, but we also need to think globally. This is the way forward. Now, the Malta Chamber. What does the Malta Chamber do? How can it assist you? Come forward to us as well. I'm going to start off first by helping you, by explaining to you how we can help you thrive and scale up, and then also I'll move on to the upskilling. So when it comes to thriving and scaling up, the Malta Chamber is very active when it comes to policy formulation. The Malta Chamber is the largest representative of the business organizations in Malta. We have a team which is specialized. Every policy executive is focused on a different niche. So basically, whenever it comes to policy support, policy formulation, even at government, at parliament level, on the lobbying side, we make sure that we have the right experts on board to help us. We also help in outreach and business contacts, both locally and also internationally. And I'll start off with the local first. Locally, we create a lot of networking events, which would be of a generic nature, where you would be given the opportunity to speak to one another and engage with one another. We create also specific B2B events which would be focused on specific teams, and therefore the entrepreneur would have a more selective choice where to attend. And then, of course, we also do the one-to-one matching. That is what we do on the local side. Internationally, we are very well connected, both at EU level and even at international level. At international level, we form part of the International Chamber of Commerce. At EU level, we are members of the Eurochamber, which is basically the entity that houses under it all chambers of commerce within the EU. And we are very proud members of Enterprise Europe Network, which is a project which we do jointly with Malta Enterprise. Basically, Enterprise Europe Network is a network which gets people together, both locally and internationally, with different expertise. So, for example, if from your industry you have a product and you need to market it in a foreign country, through the EEN network, we can help you to add value to your product and take it abroad. We also give technical support and guidance, which precedes where Prof. Russell Smith comes in. We do not go into the nitty-gritty of what there should be in a business plan, what there should be in your market research, but we can guide you on the initial steps that you need to look into before venturing into the business world itself. I started off by mentioning our policy team. Apart from our policy team, we also have a number of other collaborations directly with the arts and the creative industry itself. So we have joint collaborations both with the Malta Entertainment Industry and Arts Association, MEIA, and also with the Malta Producers Association, MPA. One last thing on how we can help you to thrive and scale up. Within the Malta Chamber, we have what we call our Young Chamber Network. And this is why I started off by saying how empowering, how encouraging it is to see so many young faces here. Basically, the Young Chamber Network gets together business entrepreneurs who are 40 years and under, so that you can discuss your own ideas, brainstorm, and challenge us, challenge policymakers, challenge governments, challenge parliament to change what could potentially have become stale. In terms of upskilling. So when it comes to upskilling, again, we do give input on the policy side. But apart from the policy side, we focus as well on projects which we do with MCAST and also with a number of other educational institutions, because as the Malta Chamber, we are very aware that the skills required to excel in your industry cannot be generic skills. So, a carpenter who is extremely good at doing top-notch furniture does not necessarily fit in the creative industry. He needs to know the industry. He needs to know what is expected of him. Again, with legal expertise, we need as a country to build up this expertise even more. Even if we're talking about the numbers people, about our accountants, we are fully aware that the financial reporting and the financial presentation in the creative industry is very different to that which happens in other industries. I'm about to conclude, but before concluding, I would like to give 5 takeaways, which I believe that all of us on the panel will work together to get done. So, some of them have already been mentioned by Prof. Smith, by Kurt, and I'm sure that the Malta Film Commissioner will round up on them as well. So the first one is fragmentation. As we said, we do experience fragmentation here in Malta, and I believe that there are a good number of entities who deal directly and even indirectly and directly with your industry. And I believe that this needs to be consolidated. We need to have one master. We need to have one entity pushing forward our vision forward. Funding. Malta Enterprise is doing an excellent job, but Malta Chamber is very demanding. We are never happy. We always want more for our businesses. There are a number of different funding schemes, which some of them are offered by Malta Enterprise. There are others which are offered through other entities. And this is where I believe that we need to consolidate as well, particularly because we believe that we need funding which is exclusively designed for your industry. So rather than having schemes which are of a generic nature and open to various different sectors, we believe that if we were to have funding support which is exclusively designed to meet the needs of the industry, we would have more from the industry coming forward to actually tap into the funding itself. Infrastructure. We need to continue modernizing our infrastructure and particularly to invest even more in digitalization. Training as well, we need to ensure that we need to have appropriate training and as well as educational opportunities, both to upskill our human resources, but also to keep abreast with the very fast pace that this industry moves at. Last but not least, incentives. Malta is very attractive for this industry, but we need to make it even more attractive. And this is where I believe that we need to work on this point in the interest of both Maltese businesses, foreign businesses that come to Malta, and even international businesses. So rather than looking and evaluating, depending on whether you're a local business, a foreign business, or an international business, I believe that incentives should be looking at the end product itself, at its potential, and the actual value added that it will be giving to Malta. I'm about to conclude. And my concluding remark is going to be addressed to the creatives in this room and even those outside this room. I believe that our artists can help us to promote our culture as well as our identity. So I believe that we need to appreciate our artists. I believe that we need to appreciate their talent. And I believe that we need to appreciate all the hard work and dedication that you put forward. And also, let's keep in mind one final thing. These guys, these people, the creative industries, are those that contribute to our well-being. When we want to unwind, we come to you. When we want to relax, we come to you. So let's all work together to make this industry a bigger success, to maximize the potential of this industry, both domestically and even on the global level.